Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I want to show you guys how I make boba at home. You guys know I love boba and it gets pretty expensive if you go out every time to get it. It ranges from $5 to $6 depending on what you get, what toppings, and really which place you go to. So this is a really cost-effective way to make boba at home and it's really easy. And I just want to say thank you to Teami for giving me several of these items that are perfect for helping me make boba at home. Making boba at home comprises of two different aspects. Obviously it's the tea aspect and then the boba aspect. So first I'll show you how I like to make my tea and what teas I like to use, and then I'll show you what boba I like to make and how I make it. In order to make tea, there's 3 different ways you can really drink your tea or make your tea depending on how you like it. Personally, I really prefer cold tea. Even in the wintertime, I drink cold boba, so I'll show you guys how I do that. But traditional tea leaves are usually brewed with hot boiling water, so I'll show you how to do that as well. The 3 ways that you can make tea is 1, to just boil it and steep the tea leaves. 2 is to boil it, steep the tea leaves, and then add ice or wait till it cools down, and then you can drink it cold. Or 3 is to cold brew your tea leaves. The 2 types of tea leaves that I'm going to be talking about is this bloom blend from Teami. It's made with dried blueberry, dried roselle, dried roses, lemongrass, black tea, and dried pineapple. So it's a really good fruity blend with a little bit of caffeine. This one is lightly sweetened, so I do need to add a little bit of sugar to it. And this is my favorite Boba Guys rose black tea. You guys know I love Boba Guys. And Tea People, which is their tea branch, actually sells tea leaves that you can buy online or in the Bay Area. So my parents got this for me for Christmas and I always get their rose black tea, so now I can make it at home. These are fairly inexpensive if you compare it to how much it would normally cost to buy boba. For a 4-ounce pack for this rose black tea, it's $20, which sounds like a lot, but you probably get about 15 to 20 cups of boba from this packet alone, and as you can tell, I'm not even done with it yet. The Teami blend is $29.99, but this gives you about 30 servings or 30 cups, so it's about double the size of the Boba Guys one. And if you guys use my code 15BT, I'll put all the information down below. You can get a discount on buying any Teami products. Another thing that makes making boba at home so much easier is having your own Teami or some sort of tumbler. So this is my tumbler and it's 13.5 ounces and it costs $24.99 on the website. It comes in a ton of different colors, and what I like about this is I can take my boba to go, or if you don't have a strainer at home or a tea strainer, which most people don't really have those because usually you buy tea bags or you just don't make tea, you can actually brew the tea in this, and I'll show you how, because it has a built-in filter that you put on top so that when you drink it, the tea leaves don't get in your mouth. And this is great if you want to make your tea the night before, and I'll show you when I do cold brewing, or if you just want to take it to go, or just have a nice little cup to drink your boba in. You just open the top and you can sip it while you drink your boba or you drink your tea. So this has really made making boba at home so much easier, and even taking it to go. Let's go show you how to make it. So I'm first going to show you guys how to make traditional tea by boiling hot water and then putting the tea leaves, steeping them for 3 to 5 minutes depending on what the tea bag tells you to do, and then just drinking it hot. So the most efficient way I've seen is to fill your pot up about halfway. That way you can use half of it for brewing your tea leaves and the other half for cooking your boba. I'll just take 1 tablespoon and put this in my tumbler. Okay, so I'm going to pour that boiling water into the Teami cup. After waiting a few minutes, you put on the mesh cap and then close the lid, and you're ready to enjoy your tea. Now, if you don't want to drink hot tea, the second way to do it is after you make your tea, I would then strain out the tea leaves after waiting 3 to 5 minutes for it to brew, and then either refrigerate it or put in some ice cubes. That way the tea is cold and you can drink it cold. I'm going to put a timer on for 5 minutes to let it steep, and then I'm going to add the ice cubes. So it's been about 5 minutes and I'm going to put the tea in here for now because I don't want to keep the tea leaves in here. So I'm just gonna drain it. And as you can tell, the mesh is keeping the tea leaves in the tumbler, but not in my actual cup. Okay, so now I'm just gonna pour the tea into the tumbler now that it has ice. So this is the second way to enjoy your tea if you want it cold, but you want it to be brewed. And it will be a little lukewarm and you may want to wait a little bit or add more ice, but yeah, you can just put the lid back on and enjoy your tea. So the last way to make tea is to cold brew it. And as I said before, this does not bring out the most flavor and it takes the longest, but if you just want to be able to drink cold tea and you don't want to have to worry about boiling it first, this is the easiest way to do that. And with tea leaves, it usually brings more of a subtle flavor and you do need to do it longer. So what I do is I just get my Brita pitcher and I pour water into this and I leave it overnight in the fridge. So I just have my filtered water. And you can already tell that the tea is not as pink as it was previously when we used boiling water, and that's because it hasn't really been steeped or brewed. And that's why when you leave it in the fridge overnight, eventually it'll become more like the normal color. So let's go put it in the fridge. So I'm just gonna put this in the fridge and then wait overnight. For the boba, usually 1 cup or 1 rice cup is enough for 2 people, so because I'm only making it for 1 person, I'll do half a cup. I usually just pour this into the cup. And I'll put this in the boiling water. Okay, with the water boiling, we're gonna put in the boba. And now we just wait till it floats to the top. As you can see, some of them are starting to float to the top. So we know it's almost time to steam them. So now that they're all floating to the top, I will lower the heat and I will cover it to simmer it for a few minutes. You really only need a minute. You can definitely taste test it depending on how you like it. I like mine chewier, so I'll take it out a little early if needed. Make sure you save a little bit of the water so that you can make some syrup. So I'll drain the boba and then keep a little bit of the water and put it in this bowl. If you want to stop it from cooking, feel free to run it with some cold water. So to sweeten the boba, I usually put about a tablespoon or a teaspoon of honey and a tablespoon or so of brown sugar. So this is how I make a basic syrup with the brown sugar and the honey, and I use some of that boba water where it's still hot to melt it. And then this way, when I put the boba in, it'll not only soak up all of this sweetness, but then I can also pour some of this into my tea later in case I need to make it sweeter. For the rose tea, I usually don't need to add any, but for the bloom Teami tea, I do need to add some sweetness because it's definitely it's not sweet enough for me. And for reference, I like to get 50% sweetness at boba, guys. So I like my tea pretty sweet. So now I'm ready to make my boba. I have the tea that I strained out, I got the boba that I made, and I have a clean Teami mug without any tea leaves and my boba straw. This is the mesh that you can use to make sure that the tea leaves don't get into your tea, and obviously I use that to strain it so that when I created this tea, there's no tea leaves in it. So now we can just take this out and it's really easy to remove. And now I'm going to put the boba in first. And remember, you can include some of the syrup because this tea is not that sweet. And because you're making boba at home by yourself, you can put as much as you want. The boba only costs $3.99 from H Mart, so it lasts you a good amount. Next, I will pour the tea into my cup. Now you guys know I have reusable boba straws, but my friend recently got me this glass one from Taiwan, so I'm going to use that. In it go, and now I can enjoy my boba. And that is how I make my boba. Let's test it out. Perfectly chewy and sweet with the hint of tea flavor. I love that I can just put in my tumbler and use my little straw and enjoy my boba at home, or I could always put the lid on and take it to go.